both men and women on Saturdays travel and rolled it together representing Southern University. So we know the men are going to have a tough one as Southern University men taking on Grambling State today. Tip-off is going to be at 4:30. And nobody better to talk about Southern men's basketball than the head captain himself, the head coach. Want to welcome him to the show. My man, Coach Kevin Johnson. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. Good morning, Perry. How you doing today?
Doing good, man. I like the energy. You been up all night?
You know what, man? This has been ingrained in me since I can go back to my college days. Coach Kruger used to tell us all the time, there is no place better to be on a Saturday than in the gym. And so, man, I look forward to Saturday mornings, wide-eyed, bushy tail, what little bush I have left. And it's game day, baby.
It's game day, baby, against Grambling State as our in-state rivals. And as we know, it's always a tough one as it was the first time. But let's look back at last week as you guys took on Prairie View and Texas Southern. You got a 72-60 victory over Prairie View on Saturday, and then on Monday, a tough one. They brought some fans with them as well and tried to make it a little tough, but nonetheless, you guys held it down. Southern getting the victory over Texas Southern, and I can't tell you, Coach, I was trying to go back and look and think about it, but just off the top of my head, I can't remember the last time the Jaguars swept Texas Southern in the regular season. Do you know the answer to that?
You know what, Perry? I'm in a fog. There's only one game I can see, and that's the one at 4:30 today. But it'd be good to call either Willie Scott or Rodney Kirshner. I know they have the answer to that one.
I know they have it. And 66-57 was the victory on Monday. The Jaguars shoot 20 of 47, shooting 42% in that ball game. 5 of 17 from the three-point line, shooting 29%. 21 of 31 from the free throw line, shooting 67% on the other side. The Tigers of Texas Southern, 19 of 56, shooting for 33% in that ball game. 2 of 17 from the three-point line, shooting 11%. They were 17 of 23 from the free throw line, shooting 73%. Thus far into the season, Coach, what are you learning about this team as you guys continue to will out victories, right? You get those victories, you held down home court, but what do you see about this team in terms of what you can improve on?
Well, there's a lot of areas to improve on, and we talk about improvement every day. And I think we can get better with our press offense. I think we can get better with our half-court offense. I think we can get better at the free throw line. There's a lot of areas that we can get better in, and we're working on those. But the thing that I'm proud of the most is that, we dropped the ball game at Alabama State because our transition defense was bad and our half-court defense was bad. Our guys have been able to refocus, and we defended Prairie View. And even in a ball game where we didn't handle the ball well against Texas Southern, we hold them to 33% from the field. That's almost unheard of. And so I told our guys, I said, look, the one thing you can count on is your defense, even when your offense is not there. And so that's kind of how we finished last week. But I tell you what, Perry, I'd love for both sides of the ball to fall into place today at 4:30.
You talked about, some of those things to work on, free throws. How does one work, continue to improve as the season go on, even from the free throw shooting perspective when you're talking about practicing?
We get a lot of reps, but also, we have to focus on technique, spreading your fingers over the ball, 1 second follow through, taking a deep breath, being relaxed at the line. And when we shoot free throws in practice, we try to add a little element of pressure. If you miss a free throw, we're going to run. Sometimes the whole team runs. And, our guys are really working at it, but that's an area where I feel like we can improve and going to improve.
Let's look at today's opponent, Grambling State. That last time, that was one of the best basketball games I have ever attended, the last time Southern and Grambling took on each other. And anybody who was in the F.G. Clark Activity Center knew within that last minute of the game, it was electric. The energy was there. Grambling's coach get ejected out of the game. A couple things happened at the end of the game where that thing just it blew open. But nonetheless, Grambling made it a game at the end. They battled back. They knocked down a three. They got the game back within reach. But it was their discipline on the sideline from the head coach and everybody else that ultimately took that game away from them. Southern gets the victory 67-60 and an electric crowd. You better believe, Coach, they're going to try to repay that type of atmosphere back up at Grambling, Louisiana today, knowing the Jaguars come in. But in that game, you guys shot 24 of 55, shooting 43% of that ball game. You were 5 of 18 from the three-point line, shooting 27%, and 14 of 22 from the free throw line, shooting 63%. On the other side for Grambling in that game one, they were 19 of 49, shooting 38% around the field, 4 of 15 from the three-point line, shooting 26%, and 18 of 21 from the free throw line, shooting 85%. A hell of a ball game. It was discipline that cost them the game, but nonetheless, it was tough, Coach. Another one is going to be, again, tough today on the road for you guys. What do you see for your team in this second go-around with Grambling?
I see the same thing that's going on all over the country. If you watch these conference games, they're all close. You watch the SEC games, the top team in the country struggles to beat one of the bottom feeders in the SEC. That's what happens this time of year. And so I don't expect anything different today. And it should be a tough ball game, but our guys will be ready.
You know, and I'm enjoying being able to talk to you throughout this season because one thing about it, a lot of times we don't get a chance to have conversations with coaches, especially during the success that they're having in the season. This has been a true treat and a joy for me to be able to have these conversations because you and I talked during non-conference. We had that conversation about how tough non-conference can be, going on the road all over the place, changing time zones, seeing offense and defensive plays that you're probably not going to see every night or every weekend in the SWAC, but that has seemed to get your team prepared and tough as you guys also pulled out 2 non-conference victories against a team like Tulsa and a team like Louisiana Tech, who is not playing pretty bad at this point. What have you learned from non-conference into conference that has seemed to find success for you and this team thus far?
You know what? I think the things we preach, defense, toughness, togetherness, there's no way you come through that and get to this point without those. And I really feel like our guys care about each other. I enjoy watching them on the road, in the hotels, because they're together. We had a team meal last night, and we offered those guys the option. They could take their food to the rooms or they could stay in our meeting room. Do you know that our entire team stayed in the meeting room? And normally when I would go upstairs and start watching film, I said, I'm going to just hang out with them. And, man, it's just good to see that. And so I love seeing that when these young men enjoy each other like that.
You got something special because I can recall I talked about it with you last time as you spoke with me last year about creating the culture, getting the right fit, but most importantly, getting guys to buy into what it is that you're preaching and teaching to them. It seems to be working. Let's look at some SWAC standings as we work our way all the way up to the top. We'll start at the bottom. 2 teams at the bottom tied together, 1-12 in conference play. That's UAPB, the Golden Lions up there in Pine Bluff, and the Delta Devils of Mississippi Valley. They're both 11 games out of first place with 1-2 records in conference play. Right above them, you're looking at Prairie View, 9 games out of first place at 3-10 in conference play. Alabama A&M, the Bulldogs, 7 games out of first place at 5-8. Grambling, today's opponent, underachieving this year on the season, but still nonetheless cannot get taken lightly. They're 6-7 on the season, 6 games out of first place in the SWAC standings. Right above them, Alabama State, the team that snuck us by 1 point on the road. They're 8-5 along with Alcorn State. Both those teams 4 games out of first place along with Texas Southern. Sitting all 3 of them sitting there at 8-5. Matter of fact, let's add one more. Bethune-Cookman, I continuously talk about Reggie Theus and his team. You can never count them out. At any given night, they can get you. All of those teams are 4 games out. Then you look at the next 2 teams, Florida A&M and Jackson State. Surpriser, let me circle Florida A&M. Did not see this one coming. Is when they hired that head coach last year, signed him to a 1-year deal. A lot of FAMU fans were not really hyped about the hire, but he has them playing some damn good basketball right now. 9-4 with Jackson State. Both teams 3 games out of first place, and then the team at the top, 12-1. Your Southern University Jaguars, and with the best record in conference, 17-9 overall on the season. Coach, you talking about the rest of this conference. SWAC basketball this year on the men's side seem to have really ramped up with so many teams right there knocking at the door that any given time, as you said before, can beat anybody any given night.
And Perry, I said it last year, this is a mid-major basketball league. I don't care what the writers say. You look at the quality of coaching in this league, the quality of the players. We've got guys in this league that can play in a lot of leagues that the writers might say are high-level leagues. And so, I love the competitiveness and the battles we have on a nightly basis. And we deserve a lot more credit for what we're doing in the SWAC. And that's to a T, from top to bottom.
Looking at your teams thus far, man, just talk to me about players that have stepped up big in your opinion. And then really most of all, it's been your bench that has really done the job. But you said it last time on the show. Who's the starter? Everybody feel like they the starter on this team.
I don't know who the starters are. We try to give everybody an opportunity and do some platoon-type substitutions. And then in the second half, it usually gets down to who's playing the best.
The last 10 games for Grambling State, they're 6-4, averaging 66 points a game, 30 rebounds, 10 assists, 7 steals, 2 blocks, while shooting 42% from the field, holding their opponents typically to an average of 63 points a game. On the other side, from the last 10 games for the Jaguars, you guys are 9-1, averaging 74 points a game, 36 rebounds a game, 13 assists, 9 steals, 5 blocks, while shooting 43% from the field. Looking at this matchup, it's going to be a hell of one, Coach. All I can say, I know they're going to try to repay the favor as what we did to them. I'm just going to say, Coach, as much as we like to give the refs hell, keep you cool today, Coach. You do your woosahs. You know what? You do your stumping and your arm folding, but watch yourself. They're going to try to get you out of character up there at Grambling.
Well, everything starts with my game day routine, and if I get that exercise in today, we'll be fine.
Yeah, just go ahead and get it out early, huh?
That's right.
Well, good luck to you guys, Coach. North Louisiana, the Jaguars are their Southern men and women over at Grambling State today in men and women basketball. Softball over in Monroe at the Warhawk Invitational on the campus of ULM. So the Jaguars are active in North Louisiana. Coach, man, I appreciate you guys. Appreciate you coming on this morning. Continue the good work and beat those Tigers today.
Always a pleasure, Perry. Go Jags.